Okay guys, we've got section 3 and keep in mind section 3 is mainly for 3 type of questions. Number 1, multiple choice, where out of 3 you select 1. Number 2, multiple choice, where out of 5 you select 2. And number 3, matching type of questions. But if there is a mixed pattern, then sometimes you can get one word only in part 3, and if you get one word only in part 3, you are lucky. Yeah, it means less multiple choice questions. One of the students, he told me there were 10 multiple choice questions in part 3. Satyanas, okay, all multiple choice. Yeah, so this is also possible, but don't be afraid of multiple choice. Practice again and again, and then you will understand the mechanism, how they work. And by the way, they use the same type of mechanism. Whenever I solve a new test, I realized, oh yeah, it's the same technique they are using here, right? Anyways, let's start. Questions 21 and 22. Complete the sentences below. Write no more than one word and or a number for each answer. The presentation will last 15 minutes. And by the way, whenever they start the audio in the beginning of the section, they tell you what the audio is going to be about. Please listen.
Section 3. You will hear 2 students discussing a geography presentation they're going to give.
Got it? Yeah, you're going to listen to 2 students discussing a geography presentation they are going to give. So in every section, in the beginning, they always tell you. Sometimes they write it also. If it is not written, don't worry, in the audio it will be there. And after that, they will give you half minute to read the questions. Okay, first they will tell you what it is, and they'll say you now have half minute to read questions 21 to 26 and all that. Okay, now presentation will last 15 minutes. There will be a dash minutes for answer is going to be a number, and that is for questions, right? For example, there will be 10 minutes for questions, and for questions they can use any other word, right? Let's see.
Section 3. You will hear 2 students discussing a geography presentation they're going to give.
Remind me, Trevor, how long is the presentation?
Dr. White said 3 per hour.
So about 20 minutes.
Well, it'll be 15 minutes per presentation.
And 5 minutes for questions?
And 5 minutes for questions. Okay, so 5 minutes for questions, simple. 5 should be written as a number. Whenever there is a number in IELTS, try to write it as a digit. Don't try to write F-I-V-E 5. Just write it as a digit. Sorry? कौन सी writing में? Writing में, if there is a number, you can use any technique. For example, when you are doing, you will write digits. In writing task 1 academic, there are several numbers, so you will use digits only. Yeah. Okay, now let's go on. Question number 22. The presentation will not be. Now they are going to do. They are not going to do something. The presentation will not be. So for that they can use anything. Just focus will not be. The presentation will not be.
And is this one going to be assessed?
No, not this time round, because it's the first one, you know.
Oh, good news.
Is this going to be assessed? No. What does that mean? The presentation will not be. Now just check their language and their style. In the question, they have given the answer. And as the lady said no, that is the answer. Now if she would have said yes, then that would not be the answer. Please listen to it again and focus. You know, once you understand these differences or these variations, IELTS listening will become easier for you.
And is this one going to be assessed?
No, not this time round, because it's the first one, you know.
Oh, good news.
Ah, good news, huh? All right. Let's go on. Questions 23 to 26. What do the students decide about each topic for the geography presentation? Now underline decide. Students decide and topics are given geography presentation. Now by the way, questions 23 to 26, these are the topics, and A, B, C, these are the options. So it's a good idea to read the options carefully, and one option can be used twice also, because there are 4 questions and how many options? 3 options. Let's focus option A. They will definitely include this topic. Only underline definitely include. Got it? It's understood that they are going to talk about topics, so definitely include. Option B, might include. Option C, not include. Got it? Now just listen carefully. If they're going to include it, they'll say, let's see. I'll say, perhaps we should think about it. Or then it means they may include it and all that. Question number 23. Geographical location.
Well, Trevor, what are we going to include?
Well, do you think we ought to give some historical background?
Oh, no, definitely not. We won't have time.
Okay, but I think we ought to say something about the geographical location, because not a lot of people know where the islands are.
Yes, okay. I'll take notes, shall I?
Yeah, that'd be a help.
So, geographical location?
So, A, no. C, no. B, well done. सारे ही सही हैं. हाँ, मैं ही गलत हूँ. Correct answer is A. They will definitely include this topic. Now listen again.
Well, Trevor, what are we going to include?
Well, do you think we ought to give some historical background?
Oh, no, definitely not. We won't
Okay, this is historical background.
have
That's not
time.
topic.
Okay, but I think we ought to say something about the geographical location, because not a lot of people know where the islands are.
Yes, okay.
Yes. So when she says yes, what does it mean? Students decide about each topic means A, that is option A, will definitely include it. Clear? Okay, let's see. Yes? No, it isn't. Don't go into that depth. Focus the words and focus. And after that, she was going to scratch some notes. So it's not that. Okay, listen again, please.
Well, Trevor, what are we going to include?
Well, do you think we ought to give some historical background?
Oh, no, definitely not. We won't have time.
Okay, but I think we ought to say something about the geographical location, because not a lot of people know where the islands are.
Yes, okay.
Yes, okay. Now what does that mean? They are going to include it. Yes means yes. Okay? Yeah. Alright, let's go on. Question number 24, economy.
Then we ought to give an overview of the whole education system.
Shouldn't we say something about the economy? You know, agricultural produce, minerals and so forth?
Well, Dr. White said we shouldn't go into that sort of detail.
But it's pretty important when you think about it. You know, because it does influence the education system.
Look, let's think about that one later, shall we?
Let's think about that one later, shall we? What does that mean? They might include this topic. Okay? Now see that they're not using the word we might include this topic. But the way they are talking about it, there you need to understand whether they will include it or not. Well done. Question number 25. Overview of education system.
Let's see how we're doing for time.
Okay, so general overview of education.
Of course.
Of course. General view. Now the word of course means they will definitely include it. Good.
And then the role of English language.
No, that goes in the language policy seminar. Don't you remember?
Are you sure?
Positive.
All right. So
All right.
those are the topics
See,
we're going
just
to be
focus their language and
to be
how they're
covering.
talking. I think this last one is a good example. Just see.
And then the role of English language.
No, that
No.
goes in the language policy seminar. Don't you remember?
Are you sure?
Positive.
Are you sure? Positive. So they will not include it. Okay, option C for that.